And I just remember sitting there being absolutely miserable and thinking to myself, why am I here? Sign number 3, which was a major sign. You would think that would be enough for me to quit right then, but it still wasn't. Sign number 4 is actually where it got really bad. And now sign number 5, which is maybe the most random one, but hi there, my name is Wendy. I am a Reiki Master Teacher, and my aim is to help people reconnect to their higher selves and to find and spread magic in the world. In one of my last videos, you asked me how I became a Reiki Master, and I did a video where I explained how I got in touch with Reiki in the first place. But in this one, I really want to speak about my personal experience, how I knew it was time to quit my 9-to-5 job and to pursue a rather uncommon career, you can say. So make sure you watch this video until the end, because I will dive deeper into how to actually read signs and how to know if something is a sign for you or not. Okay, so let me start with my own personal journey that maybe can inspire you in some way. So maybe you are currently in a job and you're wondering, should I stay or should I go? And you're not sure what to do. I was working as a primary school teacher. I did my master's in educational sciences. And to be very honest, already during my study times, I knew that I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. One of the reasons I wanted to become a teacher in the first place was because I had this very naive thought that I could change the world if I could help, children growing into their true selves. And I quickly realized that, at least in the school system that I was working in, that really wasn't possible in the way that I imagined it. I was pretty frustrated rather quickly, and I just didn't feel aligned to my passion, my purpose anymore. So actually I could say that was already the first sign that I wasn't really where I was supposed to be. Like, my gut feeling was already like, we're not sure we want that. There is a phenomenon called the sunk cost fallacy that explains why sometimes we tend to make irrational decisions just based on the pure fact that we've already invested so much time and energy into something. And that was basically me after my studies. So maybe that's also something you can relate to. You feel like, oh my gosh, I already have so much experience in this field and I invested so much. And even though my gut feeling is telling me stop doing what you're doing, you can't stop, because you already invested so much time and effort and everything into it. So that was intuition, or sign number 1. Then it got really bad. I really didn't feel like myself anymore. Like, one of my colleagues was telling me she was actually able to see auras, and she told me she feels like my aura is like translucent and she like hardly sees me at all. And I was like, whoa, I'm usually told that I'm quite, charismatic, and people would say that the room lights up when I come in, and I didn't really feel like myself at all. And I remember one particular morning, I was in the tram. I would usually ride my bike to school, to work, which was basically the best part of my day. But at that day, it was like pouring and it was still dark in the morning. And I remember sitting there, and I was actually reading this book. I think in English it's called Return to Love. I will link it down below for you if you want to check it out. And I don't remember the exact words or the exact page, but it was something, just trusting the process, and that you are always exactly where you need to be, and that there is a reason for everything. And I just remember sitting there being absolutely miserable and thinking to myself, why am I here? Like, this just doesn't feel right. It's not like, it just feels stuck, and I don't feel like it's flowing, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, why am I here? And I was literally asking this question to the universe, like, why am I here? Like, what's going on? I don't get it. And I got out of the tram, and as the train was departing, I could see an advertising that was on the other side of the track. And I don't know if you know the brand Oatly. I think it's a Swedish vegan milk alternative. And they always have like funny random ads. And this one said, you are at this exact place at this exact time. There is a reason for everything. And I was just staring at the ad and was like, okay, that is too much of a coincidence to not be a sign. So I would just take that as a sign that I am guided and that there is a reason, even if I don't understand it. I will trust the process. That was sign number 2, if you will, that just told me whatever you're going through right now, it's okay. The universe has your back. Of course, it still didn't make me feel any better about my job, but I decided to stop questioning it and just go with the flow. And now for sign number 3, which was a major sign. And you would think that would be enough for me to quit right then, but it still wasn't. So I was working in a team actually, and one day one of my team members, she asked if we could have a meeting and speak about how we can coordinate better and all work together. We were 5 people working together, and she said we need a system to be better organized. I remember sitting in that meeting and I just didn't have any energy at all. I just thought to myself, I can't, like, I'm already giving it my best, and like I just don't know where to find the energy to do more. But then after I got out of the meeting, I was like, okay, I got this. I took all my strength together and I just told myself, you got this. Maybe that's all we need, a better system. Let me get organized. Let me get my together. And just maybe if I'm better organized, then everything will work out and just flow more freely. And so I went home, not super excited, but motivated to make this work. And I ordered a journal that was specifically designed for teachers. So it had these like beautiful charts that you can use to plan your days, your weeks, just schedule everything in one place. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to be super organized and then it will work out. So I ordered this brand new journal. I ordered it from Amazon, it was brand new. And when it arrived, I opened the package, I got out the journal, which looked super cute on the outside. I opened a random page and the page wasn't empty. It was not empty. Somebody had already filled out the pages. And I was like, what's going on? And so I went through the journal and it was empty, like it looked brand new, but just that one page, someone had written inside of it. And then I just knew, okay, this journal wasn't meant for me. And I just had this really strong gut feeling that I should just quit right there. But I already hinted before that it still wasn't enough for me to react, especially when it comes to quitting a job or just making any big life decisions. Most of the times we are scared, right? We are scared because we don't know what to do. Maybe we have financial anxiety or just anxiety because it's the big unknown and we don't have everything figured out. And that was me too. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't know what to do. So even though sign number 3 was like, it's not for you, stop it now, I didn't stop. And what happened next? Sign number 4 is actually where it got really bad. I didn't have real panic attacks, but more, I think it was like mini panic attacks. I would start feeling like I couldn't breathe, like I need to open the windows. It just got really bad where I felt like I couldn't breathe properly. And then one particular day, it was really, really bad. My colleague was sick and it was just me with, I think like 40 kids or so. And I was bringing the kids down to lunch and I just, oh gosh, I still remember this so clearly. It was like an out-of-body experience where it felt like I was completely dissociating, and I could really feel that I am more than my body, because at that moment I wasn't inside of my body. I couldn't react anymore, I couldn't speak anymore. I could sense how my essence was going all to the back of my body and just like observing what's going on. And the kids would come to me, they were fighting and asking questions, and I couldn't react. I just didn't answer, and my mouth wouldn't open. I had this ringing in my ears, and maybe that was a panic attack, I don't know. But it felt really, really bad. And then I broke down crying, and I told one of the other teachers, I am so sorry, but I can't. Something doesn't feel right. I think I need to go home. And I tried to find a therapist that wouldn't respond to me. So she was actually referred to me by my doctor. But yeah, I didn't hear back from her. And something in my gut was telling me, what do you need a therapist for? She's not going to solve the problem. You know that you are not where you're supposed to be. And then went to see the director of the school and I told her how I was feeling. And I didn't know what to do anymore because I couldn't show up for the kids 100% when I was feeling that way. And so she sent me to the school psychologist, a very nice lady who was actually supposed to be there for the kids, but she took some time for me. And we went through my options, so they were all super kind. They said that I could transfer to a different school or try out a different team where the children didn't have as many special needs. But inside of me, I just felt like the door had already closed. Whatever they would suggest, I was like, no, thank you. No, that's not going to solve my problem. So yeah, sign number 4. Panic attacks. Kind of started listening to it because I then called in sick for a couple of days and I really started thinking about what I could do with my life. Still didn't listen to it though fully. And now sign number 5, which is maybe the most random one, but that's the one that really made everything click. I actually did my Reiki 1 course around that time. And after the course, I felt so connected to myself in a way that I haven't felt connected in ages. It felt like coming home and everything made sense and everything was so clear and easy. When I finished the course, it was already dark outside, and again, I was on my bike. I was riding through the city and I looked into the sky and I looked at the moon, and the moon had this really beautiful shape, and I just knew right then I need to quit. So yeah, it was actually the moon. The moon that told me that I needed to quit my job. I know that sounds super weird for some people, but maybe you can relate. Like sometimes you just know, and it can be the most random sign. In my case, it was the moon that just gave me this strong feeling of whatever you're going to do, you don't need to have everything figured out. Just take the leap. I'm here, the universe will catch you, and everything is going to be okay. And that was the final thing that I needed to feel, to know that I just can't do it anymore. And I quit without a plan B. Without knowing what I was going to do. But if I'm being completely honest, I already knew that I would become a Reiki Master Teacher. I actually have a journaling entry where I was writing down during full moon when I couldn't sleep that I see myself working as a Reiki practitioner in the future. I guess I already knew. But yeah, that was sign 5. Now let's speak about signs. I mentioned in the beginning that there is a major aspect that isn't talked about enough that really changes the way I deal with signs. The main type of signs that we get are signs that either show us that we are on the right path, or they show us that we should change something. They are signs that basically confirm what we are already subconsciously feeling. What is a sign? Everything can be a sign. You are the only one that decides if something is a sign for you or not. Nobody else can tell you if something is a sign. So if people are like, this is your sign to buy a lottery ticket now, or this is your sign to watch this video right now. If you feel like that's your sign and you truly feel like, yes, I've been thinking about this and this is so fitting, yes, then it's your sign. But just because somebody else tells you that it's a sign, it's not necessarily a sign. So you are the only one that knows if something is a sign and what that sign is telling you. Like I said, the main signs are either showing us if we are on the right track or if we are on the wrong track. Now, I want to speak about a very special kind of sign that is very important to know about. It's signs that can feel like they are blocking us from doing something. Let me give you an example. So a very recent example actually. As you can tell, the quality of my filming is pretty bad, right? But I just got started and I didn't want to invest in a lot of gear. But a couple of days ago I thought, okay, you know what? Why not invest in a mini camera that I can also use while traveling? So I did order something and it arrived yesterday. And when I tried using it, it was making these weird sounds, like vibration sounds, and it was broke and I have to return it. And I could be like, okay, maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't do videos then. Maybe it's a sign that, creating content is not for me. But I don't think that was the case at all. One of my favorite books, maybe you know it, it's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And gosh, this book is just full of metaphors. I love it so much. Like, it's one of the first books that I recommend when people ask me for book suggestions. I feel it's one of those books that the more often you read, the deeper you understand it. Like, you go one level deeper every time you read it, and it just never stops amazing me. But yeah, anyways, there are a few passages where the protagonist is trying to achieve his dreams, his goals, he's trying to reach something, and every time he's like really close, something happens, like a problem occurs or something would happen all of a sudden that makes it impossible to reach his goal at that moment. And it's really a metaphor for saying that sometimes life tests how badly we really want something. Imagine you're ordering something from the universe, and then instead of just easily reaching your goal or making your vision reality, you start the process, and maybe it's smooth in the beginning, and then some dips are occurring and some things are happening that just make it harder. And it's basically the universe testing if you really, really want this. How far are you willing to go to achieve your dream? So that's a very important kind of sign. So the next time you see something or something happens and it feels like something negative, don't take it as a no, you should not do it, but more like a test to see how much you really want it. And I mean, of course, there is a very mystic side to science. So it really feels like messages that we receive from the universe, from God, from spirits, from our ancestors, like whatever entities you are working with or believing in. So there's that aspect. But then, of course, one major aspect of how to read signs and how to use them in your life is really to look at signs as something that reflects or mirrors what is actually going on a subconscious level. So if I see something and my reaction is like, ooh, maybe that's a sign that I should do it, and I'm completely lighting up inside, then that sign is also showing me what my heart desires, or maybe what my heart doesn't desire. So signs can be a very beautiful way to get to know yourself on a soul level, on a deeper level. So that was my personal story on how I knew it was time to quit my 9-to-5 and to pursue a career that is maybe very different to what people would expect me to do in my life, but that just fills me up with so much joy. And I truly hope that this was some kind of inspiration to you. And yeah, as always, if you have more questions about Reiki or spirituality, energy work in general, please let me know in the comments. And also, I would love to hear about your experiences with signs. Maybe you've had some very beautiful experiences where you saw signs that you want to share with us. So I hope that I'm going to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye. If you have watched this video until the end, I just want to say a huge thank you for supporting me, and I really hope that you got some value out of it. Like I said, feel free to leave any questions or share your experiences with me in the comments below, and I can't wait to connect.